Kling 3.0 just got a massive update, and it's now the first AI video model that can natively generate full 4K cinematic shots in a single click. But here's what nobody is telling you. Kling 3.0 isn't just sharper than every other model on the market. It's also the most realistic and the most prompt accurate. And I tested it head-to-head against Seedance 2.0 and Veo 3 to prove it. Same prompts, same settings, and I took the best generation from each model. And honestly, the results genuinely surprised me. So in this video, we'll break down the head-to-head test across 5 different categories, so we can see exactly which model wins and where. I'll show you a full cinematic short film I made using only Kling 3.0 in native 4K. We'll walk through the exact step-by-step process to start generating these shots ourselves. And later, I'll break down the exact prompting framework I used to get this level of realism, so we can recreate it in our own projects. To do all this, we'll be using OpenArt because it's hands down the cleanest place to access every major AI video model in one spot. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Before we get into the head-to-head test, we need to talk about why this update is such a huge deal. Up until now, every major AI video model was capped at 1080p or 720p, which on its own looks decent. The problem is, even when the resolution is technically fine, the footage still has that subtle AI-generated feel. But the upgrade goes way beyond resolution. It's noticeably more realistic. This is the exact same prompt I ran on Kling 2.6 at 1080p and on Kling 3.0 at 4K. On the left, the shot looks decent, but we can still tell it's AI footage. The wheat looks slightly too sharp, the hand moves weird, and there's that softness that immediately signals this isn't real. Now, look at the right. We can count individual grains on each stalk. The fine bristles are razor sharp. We can even see tiny details catching the warm sunlight as the hand brushes through the field. And most importantly, it looks real. Not good for AI. Real. This is the difference that native 4K actually makes. But native 4K is just the headline feature. What really matters is whether Kling 3.0 beats the other top AI video models when we put them head to head. So let's do exactly that. So here's where things get interesting. To find out which model actually wins, I ran the same prompt through Seedance 2.0, Google Veo 3, and Kling 3.0 across 5 different categories: skin, fabric, water, landscapes, and space. And before we get into the results, I want to be fully transparent about how I tested this. I ran each prompt twice in every model and picked the best of the 2 results. No cherry picking, no running it 10 times to find the perfect roll. This is as fair of a head-to-head as I could possibly make it. Now let's get into the results. We're starting with skin because this is where AI models usually get exposed. The prompt was an extreme macro of dark brown skin with natural oils, individual pores, and soft golden window light wrapping around the face. Here's Seedance. It's surprisingly close to realism, but it completely ignored the prompt. We genuinely couldn't tell which part of the skin we were even looking at, despite the prompt clearly saying it should be the face. Now here's Veo 3. This is the most cinematic shot of the 3. It shows parts of the lips and nose, and the lighting is gorgeous, but it's clearly stylized. This is what AI thinks beautiful skin looks like, not what real skin looks like. And here's Kling 3.0. Not as flashy as Veo 3, but it looks real. It hit the prompt exactly. The lighting is grounded, the texture is honest, and the macro feels like real cinema footage. Next up is fabric. The prompt was an extreme macro of a hand-knitted wool sweater being worn with subtle breathing motion. Here's Seedance. The wool itself looks beautifully detailed, but Seedance hung the sweater in a giant industrial loom instead of having someone wear it like the prompt asked. Now Veo 3. Again, hyper cinematic, gorgeous lighting. But same as Seedance, it completely ignored the actual instructions. And here's Kling 3.0. Honestly, it nailed it. The fabric looks like real wool through a real macro lens. It even captured the subtle breathing motion of the wearer that we asked for in the prompt. This is starting to become a pattern. Now let's get into water, which is one of the hardest things for any AI video model to handle. The prompt was an ultra slow motion ocean wave crashing against jagged rocks. Here's Seedance. The wave looks beautiful and the background music is genuinely cinematic, but the water itself looks too animated. It's almost like a scene from a pirate movie instead of real-life ocean footage. Now, Veo 3. This is closer to realism, but the whole shot has these weird AI ASMR vibes. The pacing is too smooth, the sound design feels artificial, and we can tell something is off the second we look at it. And here's Kling 3.0. This just looks real. The water moves like real water, the droplets behave like real droplets, and there's little to no uncanny AI feeling at all. Now let's zoom out for landscapes. The prompt was a sweeping aerial shot over snow-capped mountain peaks at golden hour. Here's Seedance. Stunning aerial shot, gorgeous lighting, absolutely beautiful. Then Veo 3, also beautiful and just as cinematic. And Kling 3.0. I'll be honest with you on this one. This is a three-way tie. All three models absolutely nailed the shot. If we picked any one of these, no one would even know it came from AI. So this round, everybody won. But space is a different story. The prompt was a cinematic shot of Earth's sunrise as seen from low orbit, with brilliant golden sunlight breaking over the curved horizon. Here's Seedance. Really strong cinematic look. Then Veo 3. Honestly, this is gorgeous. The camera drift feels straight out of a sci-fi blockbuster and the music genuinely fits the scene. But there's one problem. Neither Seedance nor Veo 3 actually nailed the most important part of the prompt. Watch what Kling 3.0 does. That brilliant golden sunlight breaking over the curved horizon. Kling 3.0 is the only model that actually got it right. The light cuts across the planet exactly the way the prompt described. And the entire shot still feels grounded and real, not overstyled like the other two. Out of all 5 categories, Kling 3.0 was the most realistic and the most prompt accurate 4 times. The reason it's only 4 out of 5 is because the other category was a draw, landscapes, where every single model nailed it. So if we step back and look at the full picture, here's what we're actually seeing. Veo 3 makes hands down the prettiest videos. Seedance has solid realism, but consistently drifts away from the prompt. Meanwhile, Kling 3.0 takes a different approach. It cares more about hitting our prompt and looking real than looking flashy. And for filmmakers, ad creators, or anyone who needs their AI footage to feel like real camera footage, that's exactly what we want. But we've only seen these models in isolated test shots. The real test is whether we can string Kling 3.0 shots together into a fully cohesive cinematic short film. So let me show you exactly what I built. I created a cinematic short film using only Kling 3.0 in native 4K. It's called The Forge Master, a story about a lone medieval blacksmith forging a sword at the break of dawn, deep in a mountain valley. I designed it specifically to push every single one of those realism categories at the same time. Check this out. That entire film was generated in Kling 3.0. No external upscalers, no post-production sharpening, just raw 4K output straight from the model. And later in this video, I'll break down the exact prompting techniques I used to get this kind of cinematic quality. But first, let's actually generate something together so we know how to use this tool ourselves. This is the easiest part of the whole video. OpenArt made this insanely simple. First, we'll head over to OpenArt and log into our account. Once we're in, we'll toggle over video and select text to video. In the model dropdown, OpenArt allows us to select from every major mainstream model on the market, which is incredibly useful when comparing results. But for now, we'll select Kling 3.0. Now here's the part that matters. We need to find the resolution toggle and switch it to 4K. This is the setting that unlocks everything we just looked at. Without this, we're just generating standard Kling output. Next, we'll drop in our prompt. For this demo, I'm using a macro close-up of a tiger's eye with water droplets on the surrounding fur. Then we'll hit generate and let Kling 3.0 cook. And just like that, we have a fully native 4K cinematic shot ready to drop into any project. That's literally it. 4 clicks and a prompt. Now let's go behind the scenes of the short film we just watched, because the prompts I used are not random. I built a single template that I use for every single shot in this entire video. And once we have it, we can plug in literally any subject and consistently get results that look like real cinema footage. Here's the template: shot type and scale, subject and context, primary texture details, subtle natural motion or life behavior, physics-based action or micro movement, lighting direction and environmental light source, background environment with depth cues, lens behavior, focus style and depth of field, camera movement, if any, and finally the cinema camera reference. This might look intimidating at first, but each part has a specific job. Let me break down why each one matters. The first piece is shot type and scale. This tells Kling exactly how close we want to get to our subject. Words like extreme macro close-up, ultra slow motion, or wide cinematic aerial set the entire visual tone of the shot before we even describe what we're filming. Next is texture details. This is where most people fail with AI video. Instead of just saying wool sweater, we layer in specific words like highly detailed yarn fibers, twisted threads, and soft fuzzy texture. These force Kling to generate at a much higher level of detail than it would by default. Then we have motion and physics. Generic motion prompts give us generic results. So instead of water splashing, we'll say detailed water droplets and sea foam suspended in midair with realistic splash dynamics. The more specific we get with motion, the better the output becomes. After that comes lighting direction. Always tell Kling exactly where the light is coming from. Be as detailed as you can and write something like side lighting, golden hour rim light, or dramatic firelight flicker. These small additions are the difference between flat AI output and a shot that looks like it belongs in a movie. Then lens behavior and depth of field. This is the trick that separates amateur AI clips from professional ones. Phrases like anamorphic cinema lens behavior, ultra shallow depth of field with cinematic focus pull, and warm forge fire reflecting across one side of face tells Kling to mimic the way real film cameras actually capture light. And finally, the cinema camera reference itself. Phrases like shot on Ari Alexa, red Komodo, or phantom flex tell Kling to literally render the shot as if it came out of that exact camera. This single line completely changes our output from AI generated to actual film footage. So when we put it all together, here's what an actual filled out version of this template looks like. This is the exact prompt we used to generate the tiger eye shot earlier in the tutorial. Every single piece of the template is filled in. And the result is a shot that genuinely looks like it was filmed on a real cinema camera, not generated by AI. I'll drop the full template and every single prompt I used in this video in the prompt pack, linked in the description so we can grab it ourselves and start generating. So that's the new native 4K update for Kling 3.0. 4K cinematic footage, straight from the model. And if you want to try this yourself, OpenArt is the easiest way in. Every major AI video model is already built in, and the 4K toggle is right there in the interface. The link is in the description. But here's the thing, Kling 3.0 dominated almost every realism category we just tested, but realism isn't everything. Seedance 2.0 actually pulls ahead in ways Kling 3.0 can't match yet. So before we commit to one tool, we need to know which one fits the project we're actually working on. That's exactly why I made a separate full breakdown comparing Seedance 2.0 and Kling 3.0, head to head to settle this debate once and for all. Click the video on screen right now and I'll show you the full verdict.